Welcome back to the Masters of Recon podcast, your top automotive refinishing podcast with your hosts, Cory Kleinfeldt
and Ryan Brewer. Enjoy the show, everyone.
Today is the first podcast that we'll be doing in a series of podcasts with RestorFX. This show is sponsored by RestorFX. Ryan Brewer and I both run RestorFX centers. And if you want to learn more about what RestorFX is and how it works, then visit their website at RestorFX.com. Okay, now today we have on the highest volume RestorFX center in the world. He's located in Long Island, New York. We're going to dig into his history and how he created such a successful automotive refinishing business. Welcome to the show, Michael Quartarone.
What's going on, guys? We got a lot to talk about today. Definitely hope to be of some value for people that are looking to get into the business and, hopefully be able to help some people and motivate some people to see what the potential is for RestorFX.
Love it. Awesome.
Some questions. What do we got?
Awesome. What's up, Ryan Brewer? How's it going, man?
How you doing, buddy?
Great, dude. I'm excited for this whole thing we're doing.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this too.
So, if we're going to talk about RestorFX, right, the first thing we do is have on the highest volume, highest grossing RestorFX center in the world, right? Because Ryan and I want to know how he did it, and then we're going to record that and show it to all you guys. So
come on, I love it. And so I brought this product into New York with my partner, Don, in 2013. And he has two successful body shops. And, he kind of presented this opportunity for me. I was 23 years old. I didn't really have a path per se in life yet. I was still kind of trying to find my way. He presented me this opportunity. He rolled the dice. He said, either you're going to take this off the ground or you're not, And
you did.
And it's tough in the beginning. And I always said, the past couple of years, once my business really started to flourish and really, become what it is now, I always wish that I had somebody like me to reference or to look back to. Or, dude, there was so many days that I would be in my shop until 8, 9 o'clock at night with two cars in the shop, just trying to, figure out problems and perfect it and deal with these people that you have to deal with at dealerships. And, so many things that, we just have to teach ourselves. And, as we go through this process, it's tough in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though Alex and, there's plenty of people to reference to help with questions, technical support, all that stuff. To really fine tune the operation and get it to where it runs smoothly, it takes a lot. And then it's not just learning the product, it's learning how to deal with these people at dealerships. My uncle, he's my uncle, partner, mentor, whatever you want to call him. He's just an amazing human being. He doesn't let grass grow under his feet. He's always looking for something. Very, very smart person. And there's a product that he came across in New York, just from a small vendor. It was just a little tiny 1 ounce bottle. And you just would wipe it on a scratch. And it would kind of blend in. You wouldn't see the scratch. You wouldn't see, it would almost like just hide the scratch. And it very, very smaller scale, similar to RestorFX. I don't even know what the product is, if it's still around. I have no idea what it was. But he was like, there has to be a product that you could apply to the whole vehicle and have a similar result.
And have it last.
Yeah. And so that's when he got hooked up. At the time, it was ClearFX in the United States. It was ClearFX in the United States, RestorFX internationally. Same product, just that was the way they had it branded. So he bought into the product, and like I said, he presented me with the opportunity, and it was tough from the beginning. Me not having a background in automotive, just learning the product. What I have in me is a lot of hustle, and that's the saying, passion required, it's true.
What was tough? I know building a business is tough. Like getting people to trade you money for your service is tough. But what's tough about this particular business, if you can share that?
I think the toughest part for me, I consider myself to be a pretty intelligent individual. So, learning the product, it was difficult, but I feel that I caught on to it pretty quick. I think the hardest part is getting into dealerships' heads where they see the value rather than an expense. So I charge between wholesale, I charge between $350 and $450 for just a RestorFX application. My older customers, they're kind of grandfathered in at the lower rate, and then newer customers, I shoot for the higher number. And that was, I feel, the most difficult part is getting into the dealership's heads that you're not an expense, more a useful tool.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but what do we do at RestorFX? We completely change the aesthetics of the vehicle. And for me, I kind of really honed in on dealerships saying, like, listen, these cars that you plan on probably wholesaling because they're not retail quality, for my $400, you could get retail money instead of wholesale money.
In Louisiana, I charge $400 across the board just because in the beginning, I was kind of scared of the pay structure, right? For me, I don't know if it's just the way I sell things, but I always shoot myself in the foot in the beginning, which is probably a good or a bad thing. I don't know, because they had the pay structure where you can charge, $400, $450, and then $500 or whatever for the amount of volume they were giving you. So for me, I just said, look, man, I'm going to hook you guys up and I'm going to give y'all the number one, like, this is it. It's going to be $400. I don't care how big or small the vehicle is or how tore up it is. And they kind of like that, right? They respected it. And they kind of jumped onto the RestorFX pretty quickly that way. But to go back a little bit, Mike, when you were talking about the way you were selling it to the dealerships, because these dealerships have been selling cars without RestorFX forever, right?
Oh, good point.
So that's a huge obstacle that we had to overcome to get these guys to understand we're going to change things up for you and get you to start selling cars that you want, right?
That's exactly what I was saying. Like, getting them to switch over from seeing us as an expense,
right,
rather than a service.
So how much did you hard thing to do?
How much did you focus on that wholesale technique? Basically, like, hey, a lot of these cars are going to wholesale, but you don't have to. Yesterday at one of my dealers, he was like, I was trying to get this car for like a week, and he like finally texted me, all right, you can do it. It looks really bad, whatever. So I take it to my shop, and then I go in to do the dent repair at his place yesterday. And I'm like, he's like, when are you bringing that car back? I'm like, today. He's like, okay, cool. I wholesaled it. I'm like, we're fixing it right now. But anyways, how do you how much time and effort did you put into focusing on that? Like, hey, you don't have to wholesale these cars. You can keep them as retail after I'm done with it.
And I don't want to confuse people or you and jump all over the board. There's so many different things.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
You have to know, obviously you have to know so many things about the managers that you're dealing with. Me, also a very important thing is I become friends with everybody in the dealership. You can't just have a relationship with the used car manager, because I'm sure you guys know in California and Louisiana, it's a revolving door. Cory, you can have the best month in March, and then April, you have a shitty month, and then they kick you out the door. I mean, that's what it's like in New York. So
it's everywhere.
Yeah. And that's the car business.
I'm sure you guys have run into this problem too. It's like me in the early stages, I would have a great relationship with somebody. Ryan, I would have a great relationship with you. You would lose your job, and then I don't do any work at the store anymore. Because I walk in there and they're like, okay, who are you? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I try to make my presence known with everybody. I get friends with girls in the accounting department and new car managers. And I just kind of everybody in the dealership to try to become a part of the store. Yeah. And again, not like just an expense. And I don't know, I just try to find certain things that I have in common with managers and send them lunches and, just try to do things to try to make them feel like every time I walk in there, it's not just me trying to get money from them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
we go back on that just from being in the PDR industry, right? It's the same thing for us. We could be the best dent guy and give the best prices, but a week later that guy is gone, and then this guy may have had another dent guy.
His other friend that he's going to say,
we get kicked out, so we have to. And then if we are friends with everybody in the dealership, they're like, "No, man, we're using
exactly
my dent guy, right?"
Yeah. So, I mean, that's definitely sales 101 for sure for anybody. Yeah. PDR, any automotive reconditioning, whether you're doing ceramic coatings, details, PDRs, touch up, RestorFX, that's advice for everybody 100%.
You two have PDR backgrounds?
Yes.
I love that trade. I'm horrible at it.
Yeah.
I try. It's difficult, man.
It's very tough.
Sorry.
No doubt about it. Okay, so let's go back. We touched a little bit on numbers. So Mike, 2013. Ryan, you started your business in RestorFX 2020, maybe
2019. Yeah.
2019. I was 2022. Essentially, I opened up in January of 22. So I learned in the process after talking to you and all these other people, I'm charging between 450 and 550 because I figured I can go down, but I can't go. Yes, I figured. Well, one, California, I'm just going to charge more. I'm going to try to, and I figured, you know what, I can go down, but I can't really go up. So if I can get the cars at this price, great. And if I could say, hey, if we can get to 5 cars a week from your dealership or whatever cars a month, then I'll do it for this.
How many cars a day are you doing?
1.
And it's just you, or do you have?
No, I don't do the work. Yeah. So I have an applicant. I have basically a guy who processes cars for me. So I'm doing basically 1 car a day. Started in January. We're at April. I did free demos, up and down, struggles, solving the problems. But right now I'm at 1 car a day. So anyways, I started my pricing higher just because I figured if I could get it, that's great. If I can't, then I'll say, hey, give me 5 cars a month, 10 cars a month. I'll bring it down to $400, $450, even whatever. So anyways, that's where you're at. I'm curious to see on the back end of those numbers, anybody that's starting a RestorFX center that I've talked to, and Ryan, you would agree, and Mike, I'm sure you've talked to people too. They want to know how much they charge per car. Do you have to hire people to do it? How much do you pay those people? How does it work, et cetera? So if you could talk about kind of the whole process of numbers, you're charging $350 to $450 for wholesale, and how much does it cost you to process a car?
How much does it cost me to process a car?
Or what are you paying your people? Like anything like that. And Ryan, you could share too, honestly.
Well, so I have 9 guys that work for me.
Mm-hmm.
I never actually physically broke down how much it costs per car to do.
Okay.
I have my number in my head with how much it costs me to operate in a month, which is pretty high. It's around 70,000 a month.
Okay, share it. Okay.
I have 2 shops, obviously with utilities, products.
Yeah.
Auto body supply for gloves and sandpaper and all that stuff.
Yep.
It's around 70,000 a month for me to operate, give or take. Obviously, depending on how many cars I process, how many days in the month. My numbers work at 350. I kind of bounced around in the beginning.
Okay, break down the 9 employees. What do you have? Applicators, detailers, preppers, drivers. What do you have?
Yeah, let me get a notepad.
Yeah, let's break this down for everybody. For Ryan, I see that smirk on his face. He's like, God damn it.
Dude, it's
Yo, you got 8 employees and you're doing 5 cars a day?
I do 5 to 6 cars, but one of those employees is my dent technician. He's here at the shop. We
doing dent work. Now, are you doing dent work on these cars as well?
I do the dent work at the lots, or one of my technicians on the road does them if we have enough time, because the RestorFX runs so fast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have no time to do dents on them most of the time. So
sure.
We'll either catch them before or after we can. But my guy here does big dents, so he's here all day pushing big stuff on retail side and for the dealership stuff as well. So
okay, so Mike, break down your 9 employees. Let's hear it.
All right, hold on. I'm just writing it down.
Yeah, for sure.
Gross. I'm gonna give you gross amounts.
That's good. That's what we need.
And I have a manager, so he pretty much takes your spot, Mike, because I don't necessarily do a ton in RestorFX as far as daily operations go because we're so busy.
What are you charging a car?
Me, I'm charging 400 flat.
That's just for RestorFX, obviously.
That's RestorFX, and we include the touch-up in that as well.
We're all going to learn some stuff here today.
Yeah, this is great, man.
So
running my business totally different.
Yeah, and I mean that's the goal of this podcast. Honestly, today is specifically about RestorFX and how Mike's built his success. But this is for any automotive refinishing business. Having conversation with somebody that's a little bit ahead of you and reassessing where you are today. I mean that's the point of coaching. That's the point of being involved in other groups and just listening to podcasts so you can hear these things.
Yeah.
And
right, do you guys want just a quick number just to blow some people's minds?
Yes.
March 2014, I did $7,400 in sales. March 2022, I did 107,000.
Wow.
Yeah, nice.
RestorFX sales.
That's nice, dude. We like that.
I like it, dude. That's over 10x for sure.
Yeah, it's like a 1,500% increase.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's goals. We need goals.
Yeah, there you go, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't have any hair.
April 2022, I did 5,700 RestorFX. Let's go.
Hey man, listen, but you're
starting.
Cory, you're just starting. How many years?
I'm 4 months.
Okay, so that's I was a year in and I had 7,400 in sales. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying, like, which I didn't really touch on in the beginning. I literally had so many nights where I was like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I'm never going to make money with this. Are you kidding me?
All right, break down those 9. I want to hear them.
Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Technically, there are 11 people that I pay from.
Ryan feels better.
Well, me and my partner, I'm not going to say those, but my main guy. I'll start with the small guys. I got 2 drivers, so I got 2 drivers. They're part-time, so I'm doing 13 cars a day. So that's 26 transactions, 13 deliveries, 13 pickups every day. I mean, once every couple of days, maybe I'll do 12 or 11, but there's never a day that I'm not in double digits. And that's at capacity. My one shop fits 7, and my new retail shop that I just built fits 6 comfortably, enough to work. So Matt and Sal, they're part-time at 15 an hour. They're both retired. They're awesome. It's like hanging out with your grandpa and your uncle all day. It's hysterical. We just laugh all day long. So they're very light.
Yeah.
So now, I don't know if you guys have seen in the last week, I have been able to hire a social media girl, a full-time social media girl. So I'm really planning on diving into that and hoping that I can really kind of pave the way with that aspect of the business, because I think RestorFX in general, we got to get our business known better. I feel like
how much are you doing retail versus wholesale right now?
That's my whole thing. I do 13 wholesale cars a day. Okay, not very many retail. I would love to.
That's the social media girl. That's why she exists.
Yes.
Now.
Now, I spoke about this with Nick the other day. He said, it's the truth, because like me, I'm not a social media or computer guy. I don't even have my own personal Facebook or Instagram. I actually have something against it and just don't like social media. But so yes, that's what I'm trying to do with. I hired Sarah. So Sarah, pretty much my texts are I have 4 techs that are their gross salaries are $1,000 a week. My one main guy is like $1,500 a week. I got a kid that's working part-time. He comes after school. He's like $250 a week. Sarah's like I'm paying her like $700 a week. That's her gross.
So you're kind of doing it the same way we do it, where it's not necessarily hourly, right? You're just kind of doing like an hourly salary based.
The majority of it is salary.
That's what we do. It works well that way, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, they're making good money for.
I mean, I'm gonna go $40 an hour, or excuse me, 40 hours per week times $20 an hour is $800, and you're doing 1,000 to 1,500, mostly 1,000. So they're doing well.
Yeah, the four workhorses.
Yeah,
those are my boys. Those are my dogs. They're like 1,000 a week.
Yeah, that's good money though. I mean,
Frankie,
they're doing it,
and they've been with me for a while. I don't know if you guys have seen these things. They're actually on the desk right next to me. Like the rewards that RestorFX did.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah. Nice.
The 10,000 hours. My boy Dylan, he's been with me since 2016. I got Frankie, he's been with me since 2017. Louis, 2019. I try to keep my guys happy and good. You don't want to, Ryan, I'm sure you try to keep your guys too, because finding good help is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got really lucky with the guys I got, and I treat them really well, just because I know firing everybody and going backwards is not easy. It's going to start over. So
especially with this, it's definitely a skill. I mean, prepping vehicles, in my opinion, and I've probably done 20 vehicles with my guy, not myself, but prepping vehicles, straightforward. The application, definitely not simple, not as hard as PDR, but you can't learn it in a day.
Right.
Dude, and I'm just about to hit 13,500 cars that were processed from my shops.
Yeah.
I just hit 1,004 is what I'm looking at.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
The last invoice that I made, right now I'm using QuickBooks, it was 12,960. So I'm 40 cars away from 13,000 on QuickBooks. And I had another system when I first started.
Yeah. So that's real. I mean, that's a real breakdown right there. So we're doing like a little over $100,000 a month. So
I was off this month.
Yeah.
March I did. So far this year, January, I did 219 cars. February, 217. I did 290 in March.
Yeah.
Jesus.
April that just passed, the last day obviously was yesterday, the last business day. I did 240.
240? Yeah. So, yeah, I've heard several concerns talking to people with RestorFX. Like, I don't really know if there's a market for it or how many cars we would do or whatever. So it's possible. The cars are there. It's possible. Almost 300 cars in a single month. That's pretty awesome.
Insane. That's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, but it's, you know what? And I said in the beginning, I got a lot of hustle in me. I don't know if I got to prove something to myself or others. Like, the type of person I'm always, in 2 years since COVID, I sold my house. I rented a house. I built a second shop. I bought another house, and now I built a different shop, and I'm getting rid of the other shop that I built. Like,
Just going.
That's how I am. It may not necessarily be a good thing. But.
Mike, how many dealerships do you think you service in that area? You said they have thousands of dealerships in Long Island. How many do you think you service?
So this is what I hate. I service like 30 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And just those 30 provide me the amount of cars that I need. There's so many dealerships that I don't service because I don't have the space or the help.
Well, I mean, that's something to be said, though, honestly, with that, for people coming out of pretty much any other trade that are going to be paying attention to what we're doing, paintless nail repair, touch-up repair, interior repair, any of that stuff, detailers. we're doing way more cars per month at a dealership. So if you have 30 dealers, let's say 30 dealers in March, you did 290 cars. So let's say 300. That's like the highest you've done. That's 10 cars per month at a dealer, right? Mm-hmm. On average. So
I have a lot of really good stores where so remember I said about picking up details.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't even know what cars I take. That's how I have it set up with a lot of stores. I just go in, they have their car set up for detail, and I just take cars. Some stores I pick up 3 cars without me even having to negotiate with anybody.
Yeah. But that's the normal course of things. Like everyone has done that. You go in there and it's like the manager's walking with you every week, like pointing out this, oh no, yeah, no, we'll let that one. And then you get to a point where they're like, dude, if it's black, take it. Like, I don't even want to just deal with it. Right. Type of thing. So, but my point being on that is that if you potentially start a RestorFX center, and I'm currently learning this, like, I think you can expect, 5 to 10 cars a month, 1 to 2 cars a week from a good dealership. It's not going to be, because right now with Paintless Clearcoat Repair, I go in and I'll do 35 cars a week at a dealership.
And you're streamlined because they know your service, they know what they're going to get.
But with RestorFX, it's definitely a lower number, right? It's not every car you're touching. Yeah.
You have to prove yourself. We have to prove ourselves as a service to the dealership.
For sure.
And also RestorFX, we're the highest vendors that are stopping at a dealership.
Most expensive.
What are you guys charging per panel on dent work? $80 wholesale, $100, $150?
Usually like $75, $100 per car.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lower ticket.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We're a much higher ticket than the rim guy, the rock chip guy, the interior repair guy.
100%.
And I know your retail dent work brings you so much more money than, we have to please these animals at dealerships, and it's difficult. I mean, by me, I don't know what it's like in Louisiana and in California, but New York, they are just animals.
Oh man, dealership. Yeah. It's maybe a different breed of the same animal, probably. And
they might talk different, but they're all the same. One of them are the same.
The car industry is the only industry where you can be a convicted felon and make $500,000.
I know quite a few people.
Okay, not true. Automotive refinishing business as well, dude. Let's be honest. Come on.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, who are the managers at dealerships? They're the biggest slime balls. They're the people that are able to steal the most money from people.
Mm-hmm. It's less than it used to be. I mean, I've been around dealers for pretty much 20 years, my entire life since I was a teenager. So it's less than it used to be for sure. But it exists still. No doubt about it.
Oh my God. I mean, like I said, I don't know. You guys came in. These guys.
Okay. So I'm curious, we're appealing to people, outside of RestorFX, potentially looking to get in. And then I want to make sure that we focus a little bit on the RestorFX centers. Please tell me, I'm currently processing 1 car a day. So pretty impressive, I know. But how do you run me through a day? And maybe this will help you too, Ryan. You got 13 cars. So real quick, a minute or two, run me through a day of how that works. Because mind you, people that are listening, all of these cars sit in the shop overnight. So you get into the shop whatever time early in the morning, 6 a.m. or whatever. There's 13 cars in there that need to have potentially finish coat, maybe a little correction, that need to go back and just tell me how it looks. Tell me how it looks.
I think part of my success is my ability to handle the logistics of my operation. And I have it so tuned, and my guys, they're so tuned. So we work from 8 to 5. We don't ever work late. We always get it done. I'm not even exaggerating at all. Mornings, everybody kind of has their own specific job. Who's wiping wheels? Who's applying silicones and grease, who's touching up, who's doing glass. And I have Dominic, who I call him Dominucci. He's my little paisan. He's this little Italian guy. He's hysterical.
All of your guys' names, dude, are just like they're perfect Long Island. Like
every time he walks by me, he's like, "Boss, what can I do for you, boss? Boss." he's I mean, he's just incredible. I got Dylan. He's been by my side forever. I just have really, really good guys that respect me and want to help everything get done properly. So the process is the same every morning. Come in, glass, wheels, tires, wipe down, look for polish spots, touch them up, get the cars out. Then my drivers come in at 9:30. I set runs up for my drivers so they could start moving cars around. Then what cars that need to be detailed, they get brought back into the shop. Details get done. And as details are getting finished, cars are getting fired out. Hopefully I have swaps lined up. Like I said, I have my stops where I just go and pick up details every day. So I have a big board in my shop of, cars that are to be done, what cars need to be interior detailed. And that's what I'm doing all day. I don't touch now at this point, I don't touch anything on a vehicle anymore.
Yeah. You can't.
No, my whole day is just putting people in place for doing what they have to do. Like I said, I set runs up for my drivers. Dylan, he's like my main head manager, who's incredible. He's on the ball.
Okay, I'm gonna get you back on track real quick. 8 to 5, 8 a.m. Come in, glass, wheels, tires, touch up, finish it up. Drivers at 9:30, they're doing swaps.
They're doing swaps.
You get your first RestorFX car into your shop to start on it at 10.
Generally at 9:30, that's when my 4 guys start on the interior details.
Okay.
Break is at 10:30. 10:30 to 11 is break. Usually by 11:30, we start washing cars outside to bring them into the shop. And when I say wash, I power wash wheels, motors, jams, get the cars stripped. Usually we start processing for the RestorFXs around 12 p.m. That's when the day starts. That's when the first time we hit sandpaper on a car.
And do a 13. Okay.
So I have 2 shops, right? So from 12 to 3, cars are getting sanded. Now, mind you, in the shop, I have a lot of techs that are moving. There's Frankie, Louie, Marlon, Dylan, Dominic. 5 guys. Okay. I got my drivers, Sal and Matt, they're running around. Sarah, she's in here doing social media. Me, I'm making sure everybody's doing what they got to do. So from 12 to 3, cars are getting sanded. Do you guys have the steam machine, the steam cleaner, or no?
Nope. We need to know about that.
Yeah.
If you look on my some of my recent posts that the girl made on my Instagram, you'll see it in use.
It's for the exterior, like steam in the exterior of the vehicle.
So like when you sand with the DA, all the white juice that gets in between the cracks, it's an awesome machine. I mean,
versus like an air compressor.
Well, we use air. You got to, if you guys have your phones out, just look at my most recent video. It's an awesome machine.
All right.
But anyway, so pretty much it only takes my guys like 2.5 hours to sand the vehicles. Yeah. And then we steam, blow them out, tape them. Then I have the kid Josh comes in, the young kid from high school. We start prepping for the application around 3:00. So I have 2 shops. So my main shop in the front, I have 6 cars already in taped that are ready to, this is by 3:00. They're already in, ready, taped. So we just need the prep solution and to apply the clear. Mm-hmm. So at 3:45, I'm starting to apply clear. Okay. In the 6 cars in my first shop, the remaining 7 cars in my back shop, which is literally behind this wall, they're still sanding cars and steaming them and getting them ready for the clear to be applied, RestorFX to be applied. And it's kind of just I have it just perfectly funneled in that it just, the day ends at 4:45. And then at 4:45, 5:00, we always get the colors ready for the touch-ups for the next day. So that's one part of the morning that, one part of the morning that we get to cut out. And it's just everybody's on board with the system and it works. And
so is everybody applying, all of your guys?
4 people apply.
4 people apply to 13 cars in 2 hours?
I have three of people who apply.
We start applying. We start prepping at 3. I start applying at 3:45. 3:45 to 5.
Wow.
Four people do 13 cars in an hour?
Hour and 15 minutes.
Wow.
Do they use 2 hands at once? Like, damn, okay.
Do 13,000 cars, man. It's just a system.
I guess, for real. Okay.
What about who do you have somebody walking your lots to find these vehicles? How are you getting them?
That's me.
Okay, cool.
The manager.
But I read it. Okay, so Cory, you were saying how you were trying to get a car from somebody for a week.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
For many years.
For sure.
Dude, I was in your position, your shoes in 2013.
Mhm.
Same exact. And I told you there was many days where I said to myself, what, excuse my language,
What am I doing? I thought
like, so anyway, I focus on getting the work set up. I orchestrate what's going on in the shop and I make sure that the work is there for my guys to have. I weeded out people like that, like where I would, if it's taking me more than 5-10 minutes to sell a job for a customer, I don't even go there.
Yeah.
I don't, because you'll find as you go on, you're going to find the customer sales is, there's always going to be 20% of people that love you.
Yep.
20% of people that you have to fight for the work. And then there's 60% of people that just want nothing to do with you. It's just, It's just how it's going to happen, So my 20% handles the majority of my 13 cars of the day. So, when I'm speaking of my demographic. So those are the people that I have to invest time to really get the jobs I try to avoid.
For sure.
So when my really, really busy stores slow down, that other small group where I have to kind of put in work, those are kind of who I focus on. But all in all, at the end of the day, I'm really always processing, like I told you,
how many, random thought, Brian, I'm curious for you too. How many of these, let's say let's say you're doing 30 dealerships consistently. How many of those are like franchise dealers, Toyota, Ford, Honda, whatever, versus I guess you could call it a B lot or a wholesale lot or a Brock lot or whatever. What's the mix there?
Let me print a report. I'll show you what I did last week.
Awesome. I can't even get those B lot guys to spend money on this stuff. They just sell. They're selling it like it is. They don't fix dents. They don't do no type of.
Definitely an interesting market. Yeah, definitely an interesting market that we're in too, for sure. And maybe it's always been that way, but yeah, I do think that's interesting. So real quick, while Mike's running out and doing that, give me
Sorry, I can hear you.
That's okay. 1 minute rundown, Ryan, of what your day looks like, and maybe you need to start getting some more systems in place. I don't know, but
it's actually similar to Mike's. We just don't do the interior repair. So their break time is they come in, all the cars are ready as far as to get the finish coat and to correct anything. The guys are doing that. My porters are actually at work at 9:00 and they're already going to get the cars because we don't always have 1-for-1s to go drop off and pick up.
Right.
So those guys actually walk the lots for me. And I think that we're starting to see some problems with that. And
your manager might have to do that now.
Yeah, I sent my manager off with them to start that. But again, Mikey, that's the thing. I think that we need to ask Mike that question is that not all of us business owners are going to be that guy that wants to go into a dealership and sell themselves and do those things. So I think just for the guys out there, there's definitely a solution to it because there's guys like Mike that are willing to work for you that you're going to have to pay some good money to, I'm sure, but they're going to take that headache of you having to go to a dealership and create relationships for you.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a shop manager though. I mean, that would be the role. Like it. Yeah, but
you got to choose the right one.
I agree. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm making it sound like it's easy, but
I have trust issues. So
well, that's the next step. That's your next step as a business owner. If you're going to get into the retail space and go from 13 cars a day to 26, the trust issues have to go away at some point.
Yeah, but I feel like for me, I'm the best person to get the work out of I love all my guys. And Dylan, he's incredible. And he's but like the core relationship of RestorFX with the dealership is with me.
Yeah.
So I don't trust I don't trust just sending somebody like Dylan, Dom. My other workers, they don't speak English, they speak Spanish. So I can't send them into dealerships.
Yes.
But the two Americans that I have working for me, Dylan and Dom, I'm not going to say they're not capable because everybody's capable of
not as good though, but you got your role though. That's your role and you're phenomenal at it. Great. That's awesome.
So I printed out my report from April, which I did $85K this month in RestorFX sales, 175. My top 4 customers is a Chevy store, a Ford store, a Nissan store, and a different Ford store. I did 5,200 in retail sales. And then I just have a couple little stores like where they just give me a couple cars a month. The majority of those stores are when people call us, which I wish more people called, but obviously they don't want to spend the money unless we're in their face. Ryan, I'm sure it's the same for you, right?
Yeah, same thing for us. We don't actually do the little B lots because I've done free demos for those guys, and they took the free money, left with it, and sold like the best looking Nissan Altima.
So you don't see, you don't do wholesale lots.
Well, that's why I'm curious, Mike. You said those are the top 4, but do you do them? How many of those lots do you do?
Yeah, hold on.
Half? I mean, we don't need exact. I mean, give us exact.
Hold on. I'm writing it down right now.
I mean, you would do them, right, Ryan? They don't want to use you. It's not that you're like, I don't do them.
See, I don't discriminate. So those B lots, those are the wholesale cars. Those guys get those cars from new car stores that don't want to resell those cars.
Truth.
What we have started to do, and I got the dealership managers to understand this because I wound up doing a couple free ones for those guys, but they were like, oh, we don't want to do that car because we're going to send it to the auction or we're going to wholesale it. I said, look, man, let me take that car, bring it back tomorrow, and let's see how much more money you're going to get out of it, whether it's from the auction or from the wholesalers. And I had some guys getting thousands of dollars more than what they were ever getting from an auction. So now they're starting to think differently. They're like, man, I'm sending this to the auction. Can you have it back by this date? And it actually gives us a lot of lead time because they're only auctioning cars off at a certain times of the month. So they're like, look, just as long as you get that car back by this date, we're good with it. And they're starting to see more money. It's just a different way for them to make different revenue, which is they're liking it.
It is. That's cool. It is also such a weird time in the industry with the lack of inventory.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah. Some of them are like, yeah, man, we're getting the money anyway, so we don't need to put money into it.
Exactly. Like, well, and that's kind of, but then also for me, where I'm at, a lot of stores are keeping cars that they normally wouldn't because of the lack of inventory.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's like a
double-edged blade for sure. Okay, so kind of wrapping up, towards the end of the show here, but Ryan, if you want anything else, but I kind of want to hear about this new center that you built, and kind of why more retail and how you plan on doing that, finding it. Is it going to replace some wholesale or what's your thoughts on the retail side?
So Nick and Alex have been to my shop a couple of times. Yeah. In the last year, they each came on separate occasions. So obviously you just see a wall behind me, but I'm in my new shop right now. There's a building directly behind me where I have 2 shops in currently. So last year I took on my second shop for the first time. Okay. And it was kind of like a pilot to see if I could fill it up. Because my one shop, I was put into capacity 9 cars, like squeezing them in. So I rented another shop to see if I would have the workflow. I did have the workflow. Now the 2 shops behind me, they're hidden. It's almost like an industrial, it's not on a road. You can't, when you're driving down Park Avenue, that's the street that I'm off of, you can't see my shop. I have a little RestorFX sign on the side of the building, but nobody would ever be like, oh, what's that? Let me pull in here and see what these people are doing. So my shop that I'm in now, it's on a main road, Little East Neck Road, which 11,000 people pass a day. So today, actually, I'm having the whole storefront done. RestorFX, they designed it for me, where it's going to show exactly what we do, and they did an awesome job designing the front, and I'm very, very excited. So now I'm seen. My shop is seen. So, me and my partner, we spent a decent amount of money to make the shop nice. It's like beautiful, state of the art, drop ceiling, air conditioning. We epoxied the floors. It's really, really sharp looking. I put a lift in. So when I'm working on lower cars, I can raise them up, Corvettes, stuff like that. I want to try to break into the Highline market. Where I am in New York, there's a couple of guys that really have cornered the market where they're doing expel, ceramic coat, paint correction, and their packages are like 6,000-7,000.
Mm-hmm.
My partner, every time he buys one of his vehicles, he gets this done. He did it to his Lamborghini where he put expel on it and ceramic and all that stuff. So I'm trying to go after these guys with the RestorFX price point and ClearFX price point, which is a little bit less, but it's for maybe the people that don't have as much money as some of the people do in Long Island. I mean, right down the block from my shop, the taxes on homes are over $100,000 a year, which is literally, they call it the rock block, Peninsula Avenue. Like one house on the block, the property taxes is $140,000 a year just to be eligible to live on that plot of land. I mean, it's crazy, but hopefully I'm going to try to really break into the retail market.
Where can we follow you, dude, on that Instagram?
RestorFX NY.
Okay, easy. I'm gonna do that right now.
So it's safe to say, Mike, you have no regrets with opening up or starting a RestorFX.
Absolutely not. I guess that's something we can kind of touch with I guess if we're wrapping it up. I mean, there was times where I had doubts. There was so many times where I don't know if I doubted myself or the business or whatever. And not taking anything away from RestorFX, but it is possible.
Dude,
and I said this last year, Nick, he brought this guy Adamo and they were awesome. And they kind of filmed, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw it.
Long Island success story. I was 26. So this was 6 years ago. And I'm 3 years into the game. And my daughter was just born. And I had a crib in my bedroom. I just broke up an engagement with her mother. The business I was doing like 3-4 cars a day, and it wasn't profitable. I was only paying myself $500 a week. And the way I had probably 5 employees, and we were doing 3 cars a day. And I'm saying to myself, I either have to put my nose to the grindstone and hustle and make this work, or I got to find another way to provide to my daughter. And it just gave me the motivation to really, really hustle and blow this thing up. And from that point on, it's just been a snowball, and I'm at capacity right now with my 13 cars a day. And I said this to you guys, if I had more space and more guys, I would be processing more vehicles now. So I'm working with what I got. So my plan is to just blow up the retail aspect of it, and just some insights on my page, which I'm talking to Nick and Alex about. In 1 week of posting, okay, from April 23rd to April 29th, 18,500 people viewed my page.
Wow.
Now, this is from the girl Sarah that I have working for me. She was semi-famous on TikTok. She had 100,000 followers until her account got banned, but she's just very, very knowledgeable. Me, I barely know how to get onto a Zoom call. That's why it took me. That's why it took me 15 minutes to get on here.
Hey, but you know what, dude? You're playing to your strength, which is managing a store and going and making relationships with dealerships. That's what you do. Yeah.
So that's why, since forever, my last post prior to her post, was in May 28th, 2018.
Nice.
So from May 28th, I made one post on April 27, 2021. That was when I was awarded the highest volume center for the first time. And then they just presented that award to me again. But then other than that, I mean, I haven't posted in 2 years, basically.
But dude, that like honestly, this was awesome. If you're wanting to start a RestorFX center or have a RestorFX center, like the depth,
it's going to take
the depth you went into on numbers, though, I think is fantastic because these are questions that Ryan and I get asked. It was weekly for me. Now it's a little bit less, but every week for a long time, people were calling me, asking me all these exact questions, and this is a phenomenal example. So thank you for being open enough to share all that stuff with us. I think that's huge. And thanks for figuring out how to get on the Zoom call and recording this thing with us.
It was tough, man.
We're gonna have to do a follow-up at some point down the road after 6, 9, 12 months with this retail stuff and really see, because again, you're gonna go back into the spot of being, you wish you had somebody to show you what is possible with retail, you know?
And again, I know we got to wrap this up over here, but I was talking to Nick. I was like, listen, I've proven New York to be, you know, a wholesale powerhouse, you know? And so like now I have my systems in place that the wholesale operation is good. With the amount of work that I have, I'm able to now pay somebody to just handle the social media aspect. So I feel like in that aspect, I'm starting all over again. This is like my new chapter.
Yeah.
My new chapter with RestorFX. I've proven myself in the wholesale industry, and now I want to try to build something for the retail industry and the social. We have such an aesthetically pleasing product.
So yeah.
It's incredible that, you know, it definitely has such a wow factor that it's going to blow up on social media, you know, and I want to really, really find what systems work for Alex and Nick to really help, do that.
Yeah. I can't wait to see, man. Go. And again, guys, follow at RestorFX NY to check it out.
At the end of the day, it's nothing good comes easy. It's going to take hustle, you know, to build your business or your center that you're going to start, but it is possible.
We have some centers out there, or some guys that we and Cory know personally that have bought into RestorFX, and it's some dent guys, obviously, and these guys are on that struggle train right now, right? If you're on the struggle train, we constantly tell you guys to support that. Not only RestorFX gives you great support on being able to start and run this RestorFX, but we do as well, man. I think every RestorFX guy that I know is doing well is an open book. They're willing to take phone calls. They're willing to talk to us.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Yeah. So absolutely. I think that's
the struggle train. The struggle train is real.
It is.
Yeah, in there, man.
For sure.
It's real. It's definitely real.
Well, that's awesome, dude. I appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we can meet one of these days, to get a RestorFX meetup of some sort happening. But
before COVID, there was a couple of meetings that we have done over the years.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Before COVID, but I'm sick and tired of hearing the COVID experience.
So am I. We're on the same page.
The other day, I needed something from the bank, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's taking a little longer because of COVID." I'm like,
"Nah,
can we just stop? Like, enough is enough." All right. Are we wrapped up?
Yeah, man. Good deal. I appreciate it. Again, RestorFX NY on Instagram. That's probably the best way to follow him. Check out the Long Island success story on the RestorFX YouTube page or YouTube channel. And thanks again, Mike. I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Later, guys.
See you, Mike.
Later. Nice meeting you guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Masters of Recon podcast. If you got any value from the show, then please subscribe and share this show to your favorite social media platform.